never cold plunge on your period. There's just no way around it. I can't imagine it being approved. It just stagnates everything. It's not conducive to a warm, flowing circulation.
When you're experiencing water retention or bloating, gut issues, you think, I'm going to add some sauerkraut and bone broth and these things that might be great for one person. And for me, it was just throwing logs on the fire.
I am bone broth's #1 fan. I don't drink any caffeine.
So tell me why the bone broth.
I think every woman should be drinking, if you tolerate it well, like 8 to 10 ounces of bone broth a day. We need to be better about listening to our own bodies. There's so much information out there. What may make me feel nourished and energized may make somebody else feel depleted. We are the first generation where we've been on birth control for so many years. I don't think we quite understand what that does to our body. A lot of my patients never even had a regular cycle. Being able to help them through that, whether it be because they want to have a baby or they're just not feeling well on it after so many years, feels great. Just helping people understand that periods are cool and tell us so much about our health.
What are some TCM approved things that people can do? Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being back.
I know, I'm so excited.
Me too. I want to do like a lightning round to start. It's been like 2 years since you've been on the show.
So much has happened. I can't even
A lot has
believe
happened.
it.
Crazy. So we'll get into all of that. But yeah, let's do lightning round just to begin. So tongue diagnosis or pulse reading?
Okay. I like both. Pulse is a skill that is mastered over many, many, many years, if not your whole lifetime. So that's why I was slow to say that. Tongue is a lot easier and it changes quicker and people can monitor it themselves. It's really a marriage of both. It's so hard to choose.
Yeah, I know. These are always tough. Gua sha or facial acupuncture?
Gua sha.
Gua sha or jade roller?
Gua sha.
Tongue scraping or dry brushing?
Dry brushing.
Expand on that.
We like to read the tongue coating. So it's important for me to see what the coating is on a patient.
Okay, so is that bad? Because I tongue scrape every morning.
Ideally, if you're going to acupuncture, just don't do it that morning. It regenerates overnight, but it's important to see because if you really like thick, greasy coating, I want to know that.
What does that say?
Lots of like dampness in the body or your fluid metabolism is not as it should be.
Yeah, that tracks for me.
Yeah.
What about dry brushing? What do you like about that?
I love dry brushing. Really good for your lymphatic system, but just circulation in general. I think a lot of people who notice, they have like cold hands, cold feet after doing dry brushing regularly can see improvements in that. My only thing is I hate doing it before the shower because I'm cold. Like you're just standing there naked, dry brushing yourself. So I almost do a version of it in the shower with like a loofah type thing because I just notice I'm more regular because I'm nice and warm in there.
Liver or gut healing first?
Okay, that's a tough one. Liver is really important for detox, but the gut is the main place where chi transformation starts. And I think if you don't have enough energy or healthy absorption of food, just detoxing on its own is not going to do a lot either. So I'm going to choose gut.
Cold plunge or sauna?
Sauna.
That one's easy for you, right? You have an aversion to all things cold, I feel like.
I mean, I love a cold plunge from, now and then, but sauna forever, heat forever.
Okay, cool. Well, I thought today it would be fun to talk about like easy TCM swaps. I feel like people get overwhelmed when they hear like Chinese medicine, or a lot of people think that it's like woo-woo. But really, there are so many things that we can be doing in our day-to-day lives from like a Chinese medicine perspective that can really support our bodies, our beauty routines, how we look, how we feel, all of that. And you share so many of them on your social media. So everybody go follow if you're not already.
I try.
You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
At the social media.
Yeah, it's really fun for me not only to educate or inform people on some of these small things, but also I think it makes me smarter. Like it helps me remember some of these things. Like every time I come up with a new topic, I do some reading, do some research, and I think it just keeps me like fresh and on track with being able to help my patients better. So it's a win-win.
Gone are the days of just posting a picture and writing a caption.
I know lazy day is like a 10 slide carousel,
It's so stressful.
It really
is. I mean, it's like every day. And I can't imagine having like another job. I was going to say a real job. I mean, content creation is a real full-time job, but it's a full-time job in and of itself. So I don't know how you go and you treat people all day and run a business and then also have to do content creation. And I know so many business owners are in the same boat. All of my friends who are like doctors and like nurse practitioners and have aesthetics or whatever the industry is, they're also having to create content.
It's
now,
overwhelming. And I think people don't understand how much work it is. So whenever I'm, like, can you please give me a like or a comment? Like, it's a free thing that, like, I feel like helps pay for all of the work and time that we put in. But luckily, I do think patients help inform the content that I'm creating. Like, if I'm seeing something over and over, I think, okay, this is something we should post about because it's obviously going on with a lot of people right now.
What are the things that you're seeing over and over lately?
I'm in a world of a lot of fertility patients right now. I feel like I kind of ebb and flow in and out of that. It's stressful, like going through IVF cycles and egg retrievals with patients. I think it's hard on my constitution sometimes. So it's not where I want to live all the time forever for the rest of my career. But it's very rewarding when we get good results. A lot of women coming off of birth control, which is very exciting, and just kind of waking up to the realities of what hormones do to our bodies. And I think we are really the first generation where we've been on birth control for so many years, like 10, 15, 20 years. And I don't think we quite understand what that does to our body. And a lot of my patients just have never even had a regular cycle. So being able to help them through that, whether it be because they want to have a baby or they're just not feeling well on it after so many years, feels great. And I think just helping people understand that periods are cool and tell us so much about our health is really fun.
Yeah, as somebody with period issues, I always hate when I hear that.
Yeah.
And when I hear that it's like the fifth vital sign.
It is.
Because it's stressful when you are having issues in that area. But I always wonder, like, I mean, I was in the era of being put on birth control when I was like 13 or 14, like because I had one pimple, and that was just normal at the time. And I think that doing that from such a young age until I was like in my early 20s really created a lot of these issues that I still have today. And I'm not anti, like I always say that there's a time and a place, right?
Yes. My first question is always, why did you go on birth control? And if it's to prevent pregnancy, great. That's one thing. But I think 80% of the time I'm seeing the reason being painful period, missing period, acne, all those things, which this is not a fix. It's just a complete Band-Aid. And those things may or may not be there when you stop. So I think there's just like the time is now really to figure out what that is. You can't escape it. So.
And then I think a lot of us are lifestyling our ways into a lot of these issues, especially in LA. I remember last time you were on, you talked about everyone in LA being bloated, right?
Everyone.
That video did so well because everyone was like, what? And everybody is eating salads.
Drinking smoothies.
Yep. Yeah. And, doing these things that are then creating these imbalances in our bodies. What are some of the most egregious offenders?
Okay. Cold water. I feel like the big Stanley Cup probably came out after we first recorded. Like, why do you need so much freezing cold water all day long? It's not necessary. It's really hard for your body to process, weakens your digestion. So cold water, cold smoothies, especially first thing in the morning. Oh my God, it just makes me want to scream. It's the worst thing you could put in your body.
Smoothie or water?
Smoothie. Cold. Okay. Like if that's your breakfast, the first thing you put in is this ice cold, smoothie.
Sugar
it's just
bomb.
It's shutting everything down. Salads are really tricky on a lot of people. And I think when I say that to a patient, they kind of have this moment like, oh yeah, you're right. Like eating a salad makes me feel like crap. I just think it's a healthy food. And so we think it should make us feel good, but it doesn't. And then random weird things like chickpeas and beans, broccoli, cauliflower. Some of those things just really do not agree with people.
I had broccoli and cauliflower at lunch today.
And if you feel fine, great.
Yeah.
But I think, again, they're all healthy foods. And so we don't think about that as a cause to bloating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, there's so many healthy things that aren't universally healthy. Like exactly. I learned that in my whole histamine journey.
Right.
So many of the healthiest foods, quote unquote, are super high in histamine.
And don't do well for you.
Yeah. And when you're experiencing like water retention or bloating, gut issues, you think like, oh, I'm going to add some like sauerkraut and bone broth and these things that, might be great for one person. And for me, it was just like throwing the logs on the fire.
Yeah. We need to be better about listening to our own bodies. I think there's so much information out there. I mean, even us right now creating this podcast, but we need to be able to sift through it and actually figure out like what makes me feel good, what makes me not feel good. And it may be different than your parent or your best friend or your spouse. That's really the key. Like, how do I feel after I eat a salad or a smoothie?
Okay, so I thought that it would be fun to kind of walk through the day and talk about these easy swaps that we can make so that it's not overwhelming.
That's my whole thing. Like, easy, simple things that you can do consistently that are not rocket science.
And like, people can try them, and if they feel better, great. And if not, great.
Yeah.
And if they feel like their routine is working for them, great. You do you.
Yeah.
Okay, so starting when we wake up, you drink bone broth as soon as you wake up, right?
First thing in my body. I mean, maybe some like room temp water for whatever reason, but I don't.
And you're not tongue scraping.
I don't tongue scrape.
Because there's a lot of people in the camp of like, don't swallow until you scrape the toxins off your tongue.
Interesting.
Kind of
I think tongue scraping is a lot more like Ayurvedic. And I'm actually curious, I'm going to do research now, why that didn't get pulled over into Chinese medicine. Maybe because we read the tongue, because there are a lot of similarities between those two medicines. But yeah, tongue scraping is not something that I do. I'm not against it.
Okay, so tell me why the bone broth.
I am bone broth's #1 fan. You know, I think one, I don't drink any caffeine. So for me, it's like that warm thing in the morning. I make my wife coffee. I make my bone broth. I love that right off the bat, I'm getting like 8 to 10 grams of protein, kind of varies depending on what bone broth you're drinking. And I also typically eat breakfast, which we can get into. But even if there's nothing else that you've done that morning, you already have vitamins, minerals, protein in your body. It's definitely something to get used to because drinking like an intense bone broth in the morning is a lot. But I do chicken. I think it's a lot easier than beef. And there's also so much collagen in it. It's great for your skin. I don't know. I just love it. You don't have to do it first thing, but I think every woman should be drinking, if you tolerate it well, like 8 to 10 ounces of bone broth a day. Why not?
See, I'm jealous. I wish that I could do it, especially for the skin benefits. I feel like it's the best.
It's incredible. And for fertility, really, really good. Yeah, bone broth is great.
Okay, let's talk about breakfast. This is like a big point of contention for a lot of people.
I get so many comments.
Yeah, so many comments. But I think that a lot of people are shifting away from maybe like the waking up, fasted workout, coffee first kind of thing. Solely because it's not serving them, because they don't feel well. I've been really open about making that switch just in this past year, actually since a podcast that I recorded in January. I mean, I used to like literally need that matcha as soon as my feet hit the ground to function. I remember like having to get fasted blood work, and I'm like, how am I going to wait for the person to come to my house at 9 a.m? Like, what? No. And now like just making that simple swap of eating something first, water first, waiting a couple hours, do my meditation, whatever. It's like been such a game changer for me.
What difference do you feel?
Well, when I used to do just the matcha, it would wake me up. It would jolt me awake, not as much as coffee, but then I would feel kind of frazzled awake. It was more of like an electrical,
like an adrenaline dump. Yeah.
Adrenaline. And I mean, for the first like half hour, 45 minutes, it's great, right? I'm like getting so much done, like screens and everything. And then suddenly like the hunger would hit me really fast. So it was like my blood sugar, and it would set me off on this roller coaster. And I tend to run more anxious, especially with the whole histamine MCAS thing that I've been dealing with. The anxiety was like my predominant symptom. And it's very, very sensitive. And so I think having that matcha being the first thing that I would give myself every day, it was just like sending me down this path of like very kind of erratic energy, anxiety, appetite all over the place. So now I do tongue scraping, water, I'll meditate, I'll do my red light, I'll do my skincare, I'll eat usually within like an hour of waking up, max. Even if it's not a full meal, I'll have something.
Just something.
And then at that point, like I don't need it. Really.
You just
so
have
now
it
I
because
just have
you
it
want
because
it.
I like the flavor. Yeah.
That's
Except
great.
for when I work out. Jenna's here. She's like, yeah, I see you drinking matcha at 4 o'clock.
Double matcha.
Just holding myself accountable. No, but if I have it later in the day, it's because I had like 4 sips, you know, like I make that's
for the
it.
day.
So that's what I've noticed. And just like way steadier energy, way less anxiety, less fluctuations, all of that.
I think what's really interesting about the fasting trend, and I will forever believe this, is especially for women, I don't know how many are intentionally fasting or intentionally started fasting for the benefits. We're just busy. So the fact that you can just like rush through your morning and not have breakfast, and you're either like getting to work or getting to your workout or getting your kids to school, and oh wow, there's also apparently health benefits in not eating. What a great excuse not to. I think that's what most people are doing. Like, if you really understand the mechanisms of fasting and you're breaking the fast appropriately with like a large amount of calories, I don't think most women are doing that. So that's my first issue with it, is why are you really doing it? Is it just pure convenience, or is it for the benefits? Second of all, I follow Stacey Sims and her research the most, and she really talks about fasting being detrimental to cortisol and hormones, which a lot of women are having issues with right now. So if that's you, fasting is probably not serving you. It's less about the actual calories and nourishment that you're putting in your body, especially in the morning before a workout. It's more about what eating signals to your brain, that you are safe, you're going to get consistent food throughout the day, you don't need to have a spike in cortisol, and you don't need to have a spike in adrenaline. And so that's what eating is doing. It's like making your body feel like, oh, this is going to be a good day where I'm safe. And so everything else can go the way that it should. We have to remember that our bodies are still like thousands of years in the past, where we had huge times of fast and running from lions and all of those things. And some of the things we're doing today are making our bodies still think that that's the case, even though it's not, just through skipping meals, being on screens like first thing in the morning.
Yeah, the lion is my email.
Exactly. Your body does not know.
No.
And then the last part for me is, if you are not having breakfast, like you're basically telling yourself, I don't have time to just make myself a simple meal in the morning. And how does that set up your day? You're telling yourself you're the least important part of your day. And I like to compare it to like getting gas. When's the last time you ran out of gas? Probably a very long time, or never, yet we let ourselves skip meals and go hungry all the time.
So when it comes to breakfast, what do you like to eat food-wise?
I'm kind of phasic. I love eggs. Right now I'm in just like a total obsession with having scrambled eggs with a little bit of rice, because I like that there's this like carb protein combo in it. I put some butter in it. It just tastes really great. Warm oatmeal is really good. You can also put some protein powder in that if you want to get the protein. Of course, I do the bone broth. Sometimes I just have like a little piece of like high fiber banana bread.
I've been seeing that on your Instagram. I need that.
We're in like a deep obsession with this banana bread. Yeah. And I just started making tiny versions that are just like so cute and sweet. Yeah. Jenna last night was like, can I have one for breakfast and dessert after dinner? I'm like, sure. And there's barely any sugar, and it's like very high in fiber. So.
Also those coconut macaroons that you have on your page, I need to try that too.
So good. We'll have a little baking party. Oh. They're all so easy to make, and we love a little sweet treat, and it's just better to make it yourself so you know what's in it. Yeah.
Okay. So we're eating breakfast. We're not fasting. You're good with caffeine.
Sure.
Right? Have you ever drank it?
No.
Oh.
It does not agree with me. And anyone who knows me well is like, I don't want to see you on caffeine, because it already feels like you drink a lot. It makes me want to jump out of my skin. Like, it's just such an unpleasant feeling. And I'll have a decaf from time to time, and even that small amount doesn't really make me feel great. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I think my system is sensitive. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink coffee. And it's not because I'm like better than anyone else. It's just because my body hates it. So
I can relate to that feeling.
Yeah.
I should probably not do as much caffeine as I do.
It's
not
hard,
that I do
but it sounds so
it's
fun to like take something and then just want to do all the things you don't want to do.
I mean, literally the other day, like I waited a couple hours and I did my meditation, everything. And I still was just like, kind of like in that funk. And then I had the matcha, and it was like the world opened up and the birds came and they were chirping. And I was like, ooh,
yes,
this is very much a drug. Yeah. Like very much a drug.
Yeah. And matcha is strong too.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it just doesn't make you feel as anxious because of the L-theanine, but it's still like very caffeinated.
Yeah. It's like a healthy speedball. Okay. So what about workouts?
Okay.
Long and lean. How do we get long and lean? That's what everyone wants to know.
Yes. I mean, of course, it's partially my body type. I'm lucky through genetics, but it's also been interesting over the years to learn what's best for me and how to train. I like to work out in the morning. I just feel like after 12 o'clock, or especially after I see patients, I have absolutely no energy for any type of good workout. So my ideal morning is that I'm doing the bone broth, having breakfast, and honestly having like a full hour of time before I'm getting ready to go to work or going to a workout. I think that's something that people miss. So I'll wake up early in order to have that time. I want my digestion to be good. I joke around that like I don't want to leave the house unless I've pooped, because no good day starts like that. And that's just, it's been my routine for I don't even know how many years, 10 plus years. Like I do the same thing. Workout wise, I'm just obsessed right now with walking, doing P-Volve. Have you done P-Volve? Yeah. And then I am very lucky and get to work out with Kirsty Godso in person like a few times a week. And then I also use her Pyro app, which is just like killer, amazing. She has like gym and mat workouts. But I'm right now in a phase of doing like closer to 20 to 40 minutes of working out versus full hour.
Is there like a TCM approach to working out?
Lifting heavy weights can deplete the spleen, which is one of our digestive organs. I think that's probably to the extreme. Like in school, we would talk about like weightlifters and like what was happening to them because of the toll that takes on their body, like mega weightlifters. But overall, I think building muscle and building metabolism that way is great. But there's not really, I don't think they were like working out the way we did back then. They were just moving and grooving in nature all the time. They didn't need to,
Yeah, true. I know that you've talked about like working out for, I don't remember the word that you used, but like energizing versus depletion. Yeah.
That's a really good thing that I speak with my patients about, especially when they're trying to get pregnant or going through fertility journeys. Every single person is different. What may make me feel nourished and energized may make somebody else feel depleted. And so I asked people to really feel into that. And my wife and I talk about that a lot, especially with weightlifting. There's a way to do it. And maybe you've experienced this now where you're having nice breaks. And even though you're lifting heavy weights, you don't feel like just crushed by the end of it, which sometimes, honestly, doing like an hour-long Pilates class or something, you can feel like that. And it's really surprising that weights actually may not make you feel that way. So,
yeah. Well, I've been working out with your wife
yeah.
for I don't know, a few months now. I find it very energizing. And I experienced that with Pilates recently. Like, remember when I did that class a few weeks ago that I've been talking about now ever since I did it on multiple podcasts, including the one before this with a trainer? It was like the hardest thing I've ever done. And I was dying for days, for days.
Which isn't sustainable because then you don't really want to work out for those days following.
And I love Pilates, but like it's hard when you do a class sometimes because you just don't know what you're going to get. And it's like,
and you get competitive and you don't want to like be skipping, half the class.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Okay. And then what about nighttime? What's dinner looking like? Actually, I want to rewind and go back to lunch because I know like for so many people, a salad is the first thing that they grab for lunch. So what's like an easy TCM?
We make double
swap?
dinner. Like
me too.
We're in an office that just has a microwave. And so I want to make sure that is, we're relatable in that way. We make double dinner and it's typically some type of protein, some type of cooked vegetable, and then usually rice or maybe like a sweet potato, or it could also be quinoa, some type of like carb. And we just pack it up for the next day and we eat that for lunch. Having a warm lunch, I think, is really important. Soups are a good option too. If you're going to eat a salad, just make sure your dressing is like maybe has some ginger in it or something that's energetically warming, or even a carb in it. Like I love to add rice or a cooked sweet potato to my salad. So we're just trying to balance it a little bit. But there's so many more options than salad, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm a big double dinner person.
It's so easy.
I'm such a leftover person. Yeah.
I have not always been a leftover person, but you kind of have to be. Like if you want to eat clean food that you've made and you're working, it's your only option.
Exactly. I was going to say, if you're working, it's like the easiest thing to do without having to sit there and spend your entire Sunday meal prep.
Right. We don't do that. We've tried, but it takes the joy out of it, I think.
Okay. And then nighttime.
I'm with patients all day. My biggest thing is like I have to shower when I get home. Not because my patients are dirty or anything. It's just like an energetic cleanse for me to enter my evening. So come home, shower. Jen and I we catch up a little bit, make dinner, or we have something prepped already for days that we're working late. always rest and digest after dinner. My
That's
tea.
your tea.
Yep. Game
Beloved
changer.
by many people and many influencers.
It has like cult following. Yeah. Once you start, you really can't stop drinking it. It's so nice. Helps you digest your food better, reduces bloating, even if you're, going out and eating like something crazy and fun at a restaurant. I mean, we never, ever eat out without having that at home afterwards. You wake up and it's like it never happened. So we have rest and digest. Sometimes have a little sweet treat with that. Maybe it's like a piece of banana bread or a macaroon or a piece of chocolate. And then biggest thing that people are missing, especially if we're going to talk about beauty, is sleep. People are staying up so late or they're not sleeping enough. We need to be in bed. I mean, we're in bed usually by 9 or 10, but 11 is the latest because our gallbladder and liver, they function best in Chinese medicine between 11 and 3. And those are, our detox organs. And everyone's doing all these fancy detox programs and juices and whatever else. And they're not even going to bed during the times to help their body process through those things.
Yeah. And I think that there's probably so many variables that lend themselves to that. Screens being a huge one, schedules being another, just stress, insomnia, things like that. But what are some like TCM approved things that people can do to help them with sleep?
Things throughout the day that I recommend for everyone to be doing is 1, wearing socks. Your feet should never be cold, especially if you're a woman. We have so many channels that start on the feet. Wearing socks is super important. And again, like so easy to do. Walking, really important, helps move chi, helps your circulation. And I'm just convinced that forward movement in that way solves like pretty much any problem that you're having. Oh, massaging your ears, so underrated. There's hundreds of acupuncture points in your ears. So if you're not someone who has access to acupuncture regularly, you can give them a little massage. You'll know that you're done when they're like warm and a little bit pink. That's a good thing actually to add in the morning in the shower.
And what does it do?
Helps just activate all of the organs because your entire body is represented on your ear. It's kind of like foot reflexology in that way. So it's really energizing. And then again, just like boosts, wakens all your organs.
Okay, I was going to ask you about nighttime sugar cravings. Yeah, I feel like that's a big one for people.
I am a recovering sugar addict. I talk about this a lot. Like I can't eat gummy candies because it's just like a gateway for me.
What about those ginger candies that you have? I'm supplying for people.
I barely eat them.
She's the ginger.
Yeah, the
supplier.
ginger candies at the clinic nobody would come if I didn't have them.
They're so good.
They're so good.
But those
that's
get
your
me
little,
too.
I know, but you don't have a whole bag of those at home.
No.
So having
I mean, I do.
Oh, you
but
do?
I have I have the whole bags, but I would only have like one a day, if that.
Totally.
And I don't even let myself have one because then when I get the one, then I want another. And I'm like,
why not?
I can have like a couple.
Yeah. No, but like a bag of Sour Patch or something like that, that's just, I used to do that and I can't because I would eat it and I would just feel absolutely sick. But having tea, truthfully, I think is one of the best things. So it's really just, we want something that's soothing and comforting. Even if you have a little bit of sugar in there and it's sweet and it's like your little treat and it distracts you from wanting to reach for a ton of sugar is a good move. But I'm not perfect. Like I said, we have little sweet treats maybe like half of the nights of the week and it feels good. It's all about balance. So
I wish
Jenna's having more apparently.
She's like, give or take. Give or take the rest of the week. Is there anything in TCM that like you can attribute having sugar cravings to?
Yes. Actually, having weakened digestion or like the earth element, which is in charge of spleen, stomach, all of that, it makes you crave more sugar. So that and actually having some issues with like dampness and fluid metabolism. And then of course they just like feed one another. The more sugar you have, the more weakens those organs, but a small appropriate amount can also strengthen the organs. So again, all about balance. A little bit of sweet, totally fine. Too much sweet, not great.
And then sleep.
Okay.
What are we doing about sleep?
I'm a big fan of like when my mind is going crazy, which happens often. I have all my good ideas at night. I love just like a CBD gummy. I know that's not TCM, but it really works. I'm very anti-melatonin. I think people don't realize it's a hormone that's supposed to be secreted at like very small amounts in your body. And the amount that we take in a supplement is huge. Plus, they're very unregulated and you have no idea how much you're getting. But most people that take melatonin notice that they either like wake up in the middle of the night. It's like they've slept the whole night, but they haven't. They can't go back to sleep or have crazy dreams. So I try to get people off melatonin if I can. Things to help with sleep that are more natural aside from the CBD, like a holy basil tea, I love. Some people are taking L-theanine or like an ashwagandha at night. And then again, just establishing like a sleep schedule, I think is important. Sleeping, going to bed, and waking up relatively around the same time every night.
What about room temperature? Does that matter?
I don't know all the research on that, to be honest, but we typically in the summer will have the air on a little bit, and then I'm crazy and I sleep on a heating pad every single night because I just, to me, it like lulls me to sleep. I have it on my back. I travel everywhere with it. It's my thing. And even on like a plane, I'll have one of those like crack open shake moxa heat packs because I'm just like a cold little lizard that needs heat all the time. So.
Haven't I seen you using a heat pad after you have a smoothie?
Oh yeah.
Before?
If I eat, if I eat like an acai or something like that, because I'm human and sometimes I want that, I will have a heating pad on my stomach or my back, have a sweatshirt on, and I drink a tea simultaneously, like in between, just to try to help with the bloat, you know? There's no time for bloating.
Yeah, I love it. You're committed to the cause.
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask some like quick, easy swap kind of question. So if somebody wakes up puffy or bloated, what's an easy swap they can try instead of reaching for that coffee or that smoothie?
They wake up bloated. The tea, rest and digest tea. I mean, I have to say that. It honestly works instantly. I was in New York, what was that, a month ago now or so, and I ate something. I've shared this picture on my Instagram before.
I saw it. That was crazy.
I ate something. I have no idea what, because it wasn't anything strange, I don't think. And I immediately had the most painful distension, and I could hardly walk. We were trying to walk back to the hotel, and Jenna kept wanting to get a car. I'm like, no, the walk is going to help. I was hunched over in so much pain, looked literally like 7-8 months pregnant. Drank the tea, got in bed. I drank 2 cups of the tea. And within an hour, it was 70-80% gone. I took a before and after picture. Crazy. It works.
The picture is crazy.
Instantly.
It's on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Everyone go look.
Yeah. And that rarely happens to me. And I honestly was happy that it did. So I'm like, damn, this product is really good. It really works.
What's in it?
Coriander and cumin. So it's helping your body create more digestive enzymes naturally, which is really nice because a lot of us are taking them in pill form now to help with digestion. But it also soothes, inflammation, irritation from like food sensitivities, and then will help with that cramping pain that you typically have from like gas or bloating. So all those things together really help without it being a laxative or anything crazy. Like you cannot drink too much of it, which is nice. It's very gentle.
Amazing. Can you drink, I was going to say, can you drink it iced? Because summer, no.
No. Someone I was just working with on branding was like, ooh, for summer we should do iced. And I'm like, absolutely not. We're not icing the digestive tea.
You're like, do you know me at all?
Maybe
I
room
caught
temp.
myself.
Yeah.
Room temp? Yeah, room temp could be good. What is one thing we're doing in our routines that TCM would recommend we stop?
Cold plunging. There's just no way around it. I can't imagine it being approved. Again, I think you can do it from time to time. Be smart around your menstrual cycle. Like never cold plunge on your period. But
why?
It just stagnates everything. Like it's not conducive to a warm flowing circulation. So especially if you have a painful period and you're cold plunging a lot, you'll notice you may get more pain or you may get more clots or the blood may be darker. It's just not ideal.
Why? Because it's just like a shock to your
Shocking.
system?
Yeah.
It is shocking.
It is. Yeah.
Sometimes it's good though.
Yeah. And in Chinese medicine, there's certain organs where like cold can enter directly, and the uterus is one of those. So in theory, that's what's happening is like through ice bathing, cold is entering directly. I mean, hardcore people aren't even going in a pool on their periods.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a TCM approved swap for cold smoothies and salads, which you kind of gave a couple swaps?
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody loves a smoothie, is it just like drink the tea with it or use a
just
heating
don't
pad?
make it freezing cold? I think a smoothie is super convenient. You can have either, if you're doing it because of the protein, you can also just have protein water. That's usually what I do. I mix my protein just with like 8 ounces of water and drink it down. Or you can use fruit from like the counter, the fridge versus frozen. Don't add extra ice, and then add more warming things like you could do like a banana and cinnamon and vanilla protein and whatever your milk is. And that's still a smoothie. You're probably getting in everything that you need, but it's not cold.
People just really aren't hungry in the morning. I know that
Such a thing.
Yeah, such
To
a
me,
thing.
that's the
People are like, I
problem.
just can't eat.
Right. But why? Like, you haven't eaten in 12 hours. You should be hungry. And I think we've trained our bodies and turned our metabolisms off in that way. You should wake up hungry. And again, you don't need to eat a huge meal, like phase your way into it. But I think it's telling if you want absolutely nothing to eat in the morning.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So just
we want to kickstart
try
our
to get in the
metabolism,
habit. Yeah.
you know? Because if you haven't eaten and now you're skipping breakfast, so now it's like 16 hours plus, and then all of a sudden you put this huge lunch in your stomach, how do you expect your body to break that down in any efficient way? You know, it's hasn't been moving and grooving for many hours. So
are there any TCM ingredients or anything or treatments that you like for beauty?
I think hydration is so important. I know that's not like just TCM, but having room temp or warm water more often is going to help circulation, which is going to help the appearance of your skin. Blood building foods are also really important. Our skin is, representation of what's going on inside, but also generally the amount and circulation of our blood. So having beets, goji berries, red meat, black sesame seeds, seaweed, all these things are like powerhouses for the skin to be able to have beauty from the inside out. We've all seen that. There's just people who radiate in like a different way, and it's not because their skincare routine is perfect, but they are just so healthy and vibrant. I think that's what we're all trying to get at through skincare, and we're missing the internal piece.
Yeah, that's so true. I can think of some people who are like that, and it's not like they have like no lines or like everything is flawless and perfect. It is like an internal
It's a
thing.
glow.
Yeah.
Even your eyes, like the
I was going
whites.
to say the eyes.
Yes, the whites of your eyes, or like we call it the shen, like the spirit in your eyes. I had a patient years ago who took this before and after picture of seeing me months apart, and his eyes were just like alive again, and it changes everything about you. It's really, really cool to see.
I need to see you because my eyes are like yellow. When I wake up every morning, I'm like, that is not good.
New goals is
yeah,
very, very white eyes.
New insecurity unlocked. Are there any like Western beauty trends or practices that are like contradicted by TCM? Probably a lot.
I'm really on the fence about the ice rolling.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I think it works very well for puffiness, but of course I'm like, well, why are you puffy? I want to get more like to the root cause of why that's happening. It's probably like food, stress, whatever else. But in my eyes and in the eyes of TCM, complexion and beauty is all about warmth and blood flow, and the ice roller is doing the total opposite of that. So I don't love it. I don't use it a lot. I think it has a time and place. But for me, I think I look the most beautiful when I've just been like outside or got out of a bath or something where I'm like warm.
What is the most underrated ingredient or food or anything, in your opinion, for beauty or for that glow?
And if we want to get really crazy, we should make this beauty soup together that I make. Tremella mushroom.
Oh, yeah. Snow mushroom?
Yes.
I'm down.
It's like
so
pure
down.
collagen. It's so good. And
what does it taste like, though?
Nothing, really. I make it with like a rock sugar and goji berry and dates. So it's like kind of sweet, but it really doesn't taste like anything. It just takes on the taste of what you're eating. Really, really good. Most, I think, women in Asia are eating that. And it's, pearl powder is also a big one, which is in a lot of supplements now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Somebody told me recently to get pearl powder. And I was like, where does one...
Oh, I can source you some good
I was like,
pearl
Amazon.
powder.
I'm like,
maybe not.
Like ingestible? I don't know. I didn't know like what I was looking at, but I was like, probably not.
And then I think ginger is a great one. So good for blood flow and circulation and digestion. Again, digestion is the root too of good skin. Most people right now that are having skin issues, there is at least a component that has to do with gut dysbiosis.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think people are so quick to blame hormones, right? But it's like if you go downstream from that,
right?
Usually there's something
why are your
causing
hormones imbalanced?
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be another cause.
Mm-hmm.
It's
yeah, which is why the Band-Aids don't
necessarily work.
Or they work for a while and then
yeah.
And then you're just playing whack-a-mole.
Mm-hmm. And it's, of course, in combination with like the way you're taking care of your skin on the outside as well.
Yeah, I was going to say internal or external treatments first.
Internal.
I was going to say you can do both, right? In conjunction.
Yeah. But I never want to miss what's really going on. I think that's why I'm also so passionate about like going off of birth control to figure out your period issues. Our bodies are so smart. They're going to tell us what's going on. So if we're putting Band-Aids on, again, not against doing external skincare, but if there's a way that you can work on balancing from the inside, I think it's really important.
We always hear that we hear two things. Stress is the worst thing for your skin, or sugar is the worst thing for your skin.
I think stress.
You do?
Yeah. I also don't think we really want sugar if we're not stressed. So.
True.
Right?
Touche.
Yeah. We're going to pick at like the root. It's stress. It's so hard on our bodies. You can't even, I'm amazed every day by the improvement that patients make before we even get into anything crazy and specific, just because they came to a couple sessions and they were able to just relax and like enter that parasympathetic mode, and so many things disappear. It's incredible.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, is there anything that you can think of? I'm sure you have so many stories, but like in conjunction with acupuncture, is there anything where you've seen somebody just do a really simple swap that completely changed their health or their life?
I mean, I'm going to say it for like the 100th time, but smoothies.
Oh.
It's crazy. I have people that come in with such insane bloating, and I have them cut out smoothies, cold water, and salads. And within sometimes, honestly, the next week. So like I've given them one acupuncture treatment and maybe they're on herbs, but I usually don't start those till the second week anyways. It's like gone. It's incredible. Yeah. That and having breakfast. I had a patient recently who was working out really hard at 6 a.m. every day. And I had her just add in bone broth and the protein water. She came back. She was like, oh my God, I can't even believe it. Same thing like you described, way better energy, not only in her workout, but throughout the day. She was floored. I was like, sometimes it's just simple.
I feel like for any caffeine drinkers who are listening, you just have to push through the first few hours, and then you kind of get to the other side. And once you eat and you get energy from the food and you're hydrated and you're kind of like moving around, you have a different kind of energy. It's not that like artificial energy. Yeah. Which I love.
Sure.
And it's like, and then it makes it even better, because then when you have that caffeine on top of that, first of all, you're not going to be like pounding it. Mm-hmm. And it just affects, or at least I'll speak for myself, it affects me differently. Like it's way more pleasant.
And if you create that time in the morning as well, you shouldn't be doing anything that you really need that much energy for anyways. Just kind of like putzing around the house or sitting on the couch and reading something relaxing.
True.
We don't need to go from 0 to 100.
Like blast myself to like sit there in bed on my phone, like emailing and like editing stuff,
get through
which
everything.
Is like the worst when you're like vibrating with energy and like not moving. Well, your tea has been around for how long?
3 years.
Okay. And really, like I said, beloved by everyone who tries it.
Yes.
And now you have like this whole rebrand.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
When I started it 3 years ago, we talked about this on the last podcast I was on with you, but I healed my own chronic bloating through drinking a version of this tea, which was really like chalky and chunky and gross. So it's much better now. But when I started my practice and so many people were bloated, I started making them the tea, or I started telling them how to make it. People don't want to do that. They asked me to make it for them. And it really was this accidental product that I didn't realize so many people needed, not only in LA, but just like throughout the United States. And when I, made it and put it in a bag, I didn't really think much of it at all. I thought I'd sell a couple bags a month and it just would be for pure convenience. And so all that is to say, so many people ask why I did the rebrand, and it's just because I never put that much thought into it in the first place. And it's fun that we waited the full 3 years, because I really knew what I wanted, and I know my demographic better, and I feel like I know my style, like through opening my clinic. And not that it needs to match, but I want all the worlds to make sense, that if you drink the tea or you see me for acupuncture, you know me as a friend, that everything feels like, oh, that's Natazia, and that's something that she would want. So been working really hard on the rebrand for like, I don't know, almost a year, but really seriously for 6 months. I mean, you went through it with the podcast. It's crazy how much is involved, but we're really proud of it. And I think it turned out great. It's so cool it's just, the start of kind of creating this world that so many other teas and products are going to come into that I've found help my patients. And it's just a way to like expand myself outside of, one-on-one with patients, because I want to be able to help as many people as I can.
Amazing. Well, I always feel like after talking to so many founders and entrepreneurs on the show and just seeing what people are doing outside of here, like the best products always are born out of like a personal need and just trying to create something that you couldn't find or do it better. And I think that that's what you've done with this. And obviously it's resonated with so many people.
And there's so much less pressure that way. If I just had to sit down and think, oh, what's the one thing I should make that's going to represent me? I don't think I'd ever figure that out. You just have to kind of start, right? That's what everyone says. Don't worry about like perfection, just start.
Launch fast.
Yes,
and adjust.
Exactly. But I will say, Rest and Digest is such a hero product that I feel so intimidated to like launch any other teas, because I don't know if any of them will ever stack up to be as good, but I'm really trying. So we're tinkering all the time, trying to come up with new formulas, but we already have a few that are ready.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Dropping this year?
Next year. Yeah. We're going to lean into holidays and digestion. I think it's just hard end of the year to like really launch anything.
Yeah, no.
So thinking early next year.
End of Q1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My marketing team is helping me with that. They're like, why would you launch it all at once? You got to spread it out. So
amazing.
Yeah,
well, that's so exciting. I'm lucky to have the first actual box.
It's so crazy.
Which,
yeah. I put it together at my house for you.
I feel like it should go under like a glass case and not even. No, but I'm bringing it to you with me to Europe.
You should.
Yeah.
Never travel without it.
No. I know.
And I always have one in my purse for emergencies. After dinner, I ask for hot water and pop it in there. Yeah, I'm very excited for everybody to see it. And I'll make sure to give you a code, a little discount code for everybody.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll put that in show notes. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for coming back on. Where can everyone find you?
I'm on Instagram at Dr. Natazia Stolberg. T now has its own Instagram, whole nother one to manage.
Great content so far. I've seen 2 posts.
Thank you.
Love them.
It's going to be really fun and very unserious. It's Dr. Stolberg spelled out. And then I have my clinic here in Los Angeles with my amazing wife, Space 314.
And that's where I work out. And it is the
dream.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you.